This week's episode... Take two. This week's episode of Laugh With Me is brought to you by podup.com. Have you ever thought about creating your own episode? You know, like having your own podcast? What are you waiting for? Get started at podup.com. They're one of the sponsors of this podcast, and they love to someday sponsor yours. Starting is as easy as creating an account at podup.com today. PodUp has literally everything that you need to run a full professional show. PodUp has over 35 different tools with AI integration to further help you succeed. Create a free starter account or get a paid account for 15% off with code LaughWithMe15. So go check out podup.com, or if you're wanting a podcast that's done for you, where you pay an agency to do all the website, social media, editing work, check out podallies.com. PodAllies is an agency run by the folks that literally built the PodUp podcasting software. Get started with them at podallies.com. Get 15% off when you sign up today for PodUp or PodAllies with code LaughWithMe15. We can't wait to create with you and launch your podcast. Jojo, don't use that first, right step. Thank you. Welcome back. It's a brand new episode. It's Laugh With Me, a podcast with Jeremy Odom. I'm your host, J.O. Oh, man, it feels good to be back. Sometimes I go all week and I'm like, I got this episode out, I'm promoting it, you know, I'm trying to create, I'm trying to think of new things. What's the next episode going to be about? And sometimes you're like, man, you know what? Last week, that was a classic. I just, a little tip of the cap to myself in the mirror. Do you guys ever do that? They always say, give yourself like a pat on the back and you're trying to stretch your arm back. And that's weird and could cause injury. But to do a little tip of the cap in the mirror, just a little smile, a little smirk back to yourself. I mean, that's cool, right? Some people may even do like, the finger guns, at yourself in the mirror. That's lame. Don't do that. But a little tip of the cap, a little fist bump maybe even. I mean, that's badass in my opinion. Builds morale. Build your self-confidence up. I was proud of that one. And I'll tell you why I was proud of that last episode. And, it has nothing to do with, iTunes charts and downloads and all that stuff, even though that is great. Like, I'm certainly not complaining about that, and I appreciate everyone who listens to the show. No, I felt so proud of that episode because not only was it entertaining, I went through a lot to freaking, get to that point of having that content. I mean, I didn't just make up the shit all over the walls in the bathroom at work. No, I literally cleaned that up, okay? So then to go back and be able to tell you about it, and I wanted to tell you about it, that felt good. And the fact that the episode turned out great, and, people are talking about it, that's exciting. Tip of the cap. But the fact that I actually physically had to clean up that shit all over the walls, it just means, that particular episode means a lot to me, and it felt good to get that out. Sometimes it's good to talk, right? It's good to just get that out of the system, but, oh, man, new episode, and what I was thinking was I was all caught up in all the shit, so I was like, well, you know what? Let's give back to the people. I think this week on Laugh With Me, we're going to do a little Q&A where the fans, you guys, sent in questions, and I'm going to answer them for you. So, really kudos to me for caring what you have to say. So I picked the 5 best. There was a lot of shit. I mean, and, some of the stuff, it's like, oh, what's your favorite color? And it's like, it's blue. And no, that doesn't count as one of the 5. It's like stuff like that. Sure, I can tell you. It's like, oh, well, if it's, and then the next question after that was like, well, if it's blue, then how come blue's not even in the logo of the freaking show? And my answer would be because it didn't make any sense to have blue when the color scheme was awesome with the orange and the microphone and the black and the white and my hair's orange. So it was just kind of like I had the synergy going. And blue really didn't make any sense. And then the next question, and I'm telling you, there was a lot of shit in these questions. Then the next question was like, okay, smarty pants, you got this logo and it's got the green, or it's got the green, the orange and the black and the white. No blue. Your favorite color's blue. What color are your eyes then? And I go, well, it's blue. They're blue. They're like they're like a pretty color of blue too. I'm one of those rare ones. I've got the red hair. I've got the blue eyes. Big feet. Just saying. So we're going to do a Q&A, JoJo. Okay? And I didn't let JoJo look at any of the questions ahead of time. I wanted him to hear the questions and hear my answers as they were happening. That way he couldn't pepper me with some drops that made me look like an idiot. I looked like an idiot enough last week cleaning up that bathroom. One of my coworkers today was cleaning up. There was like a mess. Like somebody spilled something on the counter. It was just like pop or something. And she was complaining. And then she looked at me and she goes, well, I guess it's not what you had to clean up last week. And I'm like, yeah. Like that's going to be a thing for a long time, I think. Like I'm going to be able to use that anytime anyone complains. I'm going to be like, well, remember when, the bathroom, remember that? I did that. I cleaned that up. So I guess there's a positive in everything, right? All right, JoJo, let's go. It's question and answer time right here. I'll laugh with me. All right. First question, what is this Bottom 5 podcast? And you might think you picked this because you want to promote your new damn podcast. And yeah, you're right. I partly did. But I also partly wanted to just discuss it in a way that maybe you would understand. Okay? You know how sometimes people watch the news and, there's the headlines and the banter, and it's negative, right? There's just a lot of, well, this person's bad, this person, and this is terrible out there. No, stay safe. And then you watch, like, sports channels all day long. There's just debate back and forth, and they're talking about the negatives. Oh, Joe Burrow's got to get better. And, yeah, he does, but, is that really what we need to hear about all the time? What about the good stuff, right? What about the good stuff? And to that, I'd say none of that's out there. Not that I've found anyhow. It seems like everything that you read and you watch and you listen to is fairly negative. It's actually kind of tough to find something pure, wholesome, and positive. So I thought, well, I'm going to dip into that a little bit in the podcasting game, and I'm going to give you every single week the 5 worst teams in the NFL. And you might think, well, I can look at the standings and see what that is. No, you idiot. No, these 5 teams, it could be based on record. It could be based on purely the last game they just played and I just watched and it was just awful. It could be based off vibes. It could be based off fan base. It could be based off things happening around them that has nothing to do with the play on the field. There's a lot of things that go into it making a team. Okay, everybody's involved. And I'm going to take a look and I'm going to make the definitive bottom 5 every single week and give you the 5 worst NFL teams. Okay, so we just released episode 2 just yesterday. So that is out there now, and there is going to be so much more to come. Thank you, everyone who has listened to that. If there's any crossover here, it's actually charting as well. It's made the iTunes charts, which is pretty cool. The debut episode made it. So thank you for listening, and that is what the Bottom 5 podcast is. Number 2. How is Johnny Palermo doing? And you might say, I don't miss Johnny Palermo. I would say I don't miss him either, right, JoJo? I mean, we're perfectly happy here without our old producer. He produced every episode of season 1 of Laugh With Me. Good friend of mine. Sometimes you just want to see people spread their wings a little bit and fly. And he's a guy that, learned a lot, grew a lot, messed up a lot. And as we were looking at what can we do with season 2 of Laugh With Me that would be different and kind of advance the game a little bit on our show, Johnny, sometimes you have to leave and learn a new hold before you can come back and become champ, right? Any pro wrestling fans out there really probably love that reference. Johnny's doing good. He's currently outside of the podcast business. He's not in it at all. We thought he was going to move on to maybe the 102nd favorite comedy podcast in the world and learn some things and maybe move on. Come back to us and help us grow to become the 101st comedy podcast in the United States. But no, he's slinging beer and drinking beer and making pasta. So that's Johnny Palermo. Will we ever see him again on Laugh With Me? I don't know. We never saw him in the first place. We didn't even hear from him. He was just here. So I don't know. There's your Johnny Palermo update. Question 3. What would Lonely Road sound like if you were British? Now that's... First of all, I'm not British. And I'm not going to, pretend that I would know exactly how one would sing that song if they were British. But and this is something that I haven't really brought up too much on the pod, but I'm kind of a master of like accents and voices. And it's odd that I've been, this is episode 55 of Laugh With Me, and I've never really dove too deep into it. And you would think of somebody who was so good at it, would have shown that talent a little bit, and maybe it could have made the show even better, right? I'm humble, so I'm not like showcasing that talent all the time. I do it a lot at home, for the family, just kind of, walk around like, well, I'm British, I'm doing that a lot just, for laughs, and that's cool. Could I make a lot of money doing accents and voices? Probably. But at some point, you just have to be like, well, when's enough's enough? I want to like be really good at other things too. So that's kind of where I'm at here. But the question came in, and it was a good one, because I am a fan of the song Lonely Road by MGK and Jelly Roll. I'm a big fan of it. And I did have to wonder, like, what would, somebody who was British, what would they sound like if they sang, Lonely Road? And, I was clearing my throat because I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, I need to go all out. But I don't know. It's, do you just do the voice? Because I like to, when I'm doing a voice, when I'm doing an accent that is not my own, I like to really think about what that person not only sounds like, but what they're going through, where they're at, where they're from, kind of their backstory. They're not from here, right? They're not from Nebraska. They're not from the United States. They're from another country, okay? Another town with a whole other set of rules. Their experiences, their educations have been different. Their dentists have been different than ours. Their news, I'm sure, is quite different. I bet it's not as negative. I don't know. Do they wear different clothes? I'm sure they do. I think about that too sometimes. Like, when clothes and stuff's imported into the United States, but the people who live there, are they excited about their stuff made in China? Or are they like, oh, we want that made in the USA stuff? I don't know. I think about that stuff when I'm thinking of like an accent and like what they're going to sound like, And that way I can fully be in character and give it like everything that I've got. And I think if somebody who was British or with a British accent, I guess would that be either English with a British accent? Is that, what would they sound like if they were singing MGK and Jelly Roll's Lonely Road? It'd probably be something like, I'm British and Lonely Road, take me home to the lonely road. That's like, I really think like deep down, that's kind of where it would start. And it would just go British fish and chips, lonely road, just kind of goes in. I'm not a singer. I mean, I'm not pretending to be one either. It's just, that's probably what they would sound like. That was, you guys asked me the questions, so you can't really be upset if I didn't exactly. And I didn't know that I was actually going to sing. I thought I was just going to talk you through my process, but then I was like, well, I'm kind of feeling it right now. So let's get to the next question, number 4. What's with that turtle playing tic-tac-toe that you shared on X? And yeah, I did. There was this video. I'm scrolling, right? It's on my timeline. There's this little turtle, and he was in like a fishbowl or something. He's just swimming around, and this guy draws on the glass, the tic-tac-toe board, and he's playing tic-tac-toe against this turtle. So he would pick a spot, and then when the turtle would go and hit his nose on a spot, then that's where the turtle would go. And the guy smoked the turtle. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, so I tweeted out, and I'm just like, what a dumbass turtle. I mean, the turtle absolutely got smoked. And it's like, you could say on one hand, well, it's a turtle. What does a turtle know about tic-tac-toe? And to that I say, I just watched a turtle play tic-tac-toe. So he knows enough. Maybe learn strategy as well. Like, it's one thing to know how to do it, but then you need to learn the strategy of the game if you're going to go on camera and perform it. Like, this little turtle not only felt good enough about playing tic-tac-toe against somebody, also said, yeah, go ahead and film this. Dumbass turtle. Number 5, JoJo. It's not even a question. It just says Huskers lost. And yeah, they did. So here's the thing. We lost to Illinois on Friday night. We were at home. Close game. Lost in overtime. It was a battle of two teams ranked in the top 25. So you can't get too upset about that. It was a good game. We had the lead for a lot of it, but, lost the game. And I've thought a lot about it after the fact. I didn't think much about it before because I felt we would win, and we would win handily. I thought we would win by more than 9, which would cover the spread. And then as the game was going on, and you kind of get a feel for a game, how it's going. And as it appeared, Illinois was pretty good, and our defense wasn't exactly playing top 10 like we thought it would be. It's like, all right, this game, we may win this game because we still are a pretty good football team. We also may lose this game. And I got to thinking after the fact, I'm like, our team's still pretty good. Like, I'm still really, encouraged by this squad. And we're going to go to a bowl game this year, which we haven't done in a long time. But I was thinking, really what went wrong? And then I got to thinking back before the game day, before the game, during warm-ups, there was a squirrel that ran on the field in the end zone, and they had to get this squirrel off the field. And I instantly thought, good luck, squirrel, we're going to win tonight. As one should, right? So when you're at home and an animal takes the field, that's a good luck animal. That's just how it works. That's sports, baby. But as the game ended, we lost in overtime and looked like fools, honestly, in overtime. Then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, why did we lose this game? And I think it was because of the squirrel. I think what we thought was a good luck squirrel ended up being a bad luck squirrel. So really, this football team's okay. I think we're going to bounce back, and we're going to be just fine. We're going to beat Purdue this week and get back on track, get back in the top 25, and everything is still in front of us. Everything that we thought we had before the Illinois game is still in play. If it wasn't for that damn squirrel. If you have questions that you would like answered someday on Laugh With Me, send it in. Find us on our socials. We're on everything. Laugh With Me Podcast, Laugh With Me Pod on X. And shoot us a question, and we'll make sure that JoJo doesn't see it so that it can get answered on the podcast. We've got a new episode again next week, just like we always do. Maybe we'll even have a little happy hour on Friday and see what's going on with the week. But anyway, thanks for listening. Just laugh with me. Jojo, I really wish you would have screened these questions a little better. Like I said, you didn't see it, but I can't lie to the people anymore. Okay? We need Johnny back.